What's going on, champs? Y'all already know, man. Coach Ron Talk Show. So listen, man. Today we're going to talk about a fighter, well, a street fighter versus a boxer. And in the transition, because when I was coming up, I was a street fighter before I even entered a boxing gym. You know what I mean? I was a street fighter, and that's how I got into boxing. Matter of fact. I used to fight a lot in school, right? I used to fight a lot in school and get suspended and all that good stuff until my father decided, you know what, I'm gonna take you to a boxing gym. I think that's where you belong. And he sure did. He took me to a boxing gym, and that's where it started, man. It was funny, right? Because when I went to the boxing gym, my father told the coach, listen, man, he's a street fighter. He fights a lot. And he's been getting suspended a lot and so on and so forth. And the coach was like, okay, it was an older coach. I'm talking about like in this, no lie, maybe like middle 70s, man. It was two of them. It was in the North Battalion Hall right there on Queens Boulevard. A lot of prospects came out from there. Matter of fact, Hollywood came out from there. Hollywood Hino, who's a big celebrity right now, a trainer, celebrity, motivational speaker as well. He came out from there, and I used to train with him, matter of fact. Anyway, so my father told the coach. The coach was like, okay, cool, man. And back in the day, man, they were like, okay. So they were like, oh, so you like to fight or whatnot, what I mean? And I was a little rebel, I was a little stubborn, and I was like, yeah, whatever, man. So they threw me in there, man, to spar. I kid you not, man. I kid you not. They threw me in there to spar, and I was like, in my mind, I'm like, man, whatever, bro, I got this. You know what I'm saying? I was a good street fighter. I was a good fighter. I could fight, man. So I was like, whatever, man. So I was like, all right, cool. And then I got in there, man, with this. It was later I found out he was a Golden Glove champion, man. And I got in there with him, and yeah, man, I got my ass whooped. And I realized that was the only time that I realized that I was like, man, your ego, woo, man. That's why I say boxing is the only sport that will mess up your ego, because you have to admit, you got to admit, like, man, I got my ass whooped. Like, this dude is better than me, no matter what. You know what I'm saying? No matter what. And that's what I want to talk about. The street fighter versus a boxer, because this is the difference, guys, from my experience, right? Like, when you outside, and I got a short temper, you know what I'm saying? I always been a fighter till this day, you know what I'm saying? But when you outside, when it's a street fight, what it lasts 30 seconds, a minute maybe, you know what I'm saying? So, and the reason you fight is because you get tempered up, you get mad, right? And the temper goes and your fusion, and you fight at that moment, right? You mad. That's why it makes you fight, right? Because you mad, so you want to fight. You go from 0 to 100, right? Quick, and then you're ready to fight. It don't matter who it is. It don't matter if he's big, small, fat, skinny. Don't matter, right? You're gonna fight regardless, right? Because you're a fighter, you know what I'm saying? So you're gonna fight, boom, 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 whatever, right? Now, and then you fight, whatever, boom, boom, and then that's it. You know what I'm saying? Either they break it up, something happens. Either somebody's gonna break it up, you get knocked out, you knock his ass out, but something's gonna happen within a minute or so, right? Minute, 2 minutes tops, and that's that, right? Now the difference from boxing is that when you go spar, when you fight, you have no problems with this guy that you're gonna face. You see, you have no problem. He never did nothing to you. You never argued with him. You never did nothing that he's gonna, you're gonna get mad, and it's gonna make you want to fight him. Because that's the thing. Especially if you have like anger management issues or whatever, right? Like you get mad, and you're ready to fight. Well, in boxing, it's totally different, right? And it's the opposite, actually. You want to be calm. And Bruce Lee said it the best. The most calmest fighter is the dangerous fighter. Because in there, you want to be calm. So you could perform better, right? You want to be calm, because if you're calm, you perform better. Your reflexes are there. Your skills are going to come out better, right? Then when you're mad and you lose control and you start swinging for haymakers and all that craziness, right? So that's what I'm saying, though. You see, so in there, you gotta be calm. So you see, you're gonna go in there with a guy that's never done nothing to you, and that's when you differentiate. That's when you separate the street fighter versus the boxer, because, like I said, the skills pay now. You see what I'm saying? The skills come in now. Whatever you've done in the gym, whatever they taught you for whatever long, before that fight is what comes out. That foundation that was built, that's what comes out. So you see what I mean? So it's very important that you marinate yourself in whatever gym you are. So that's the difference. And I've seen it, man, as a fighter, as a street fighter, like I said, when I went in there and I got my ass whooped, and I realized, like, wow, this is not what I expected. You know what I mean? Like, this is totally different than what I expected. And I was a strong little, I was little, but man, I'm telling you, man, I've been knocked out in the streets before, and I knocked out a lot of people in the streets before. So, but then when I transitioned to the boxing, that was crazy. You know what I mean? Because now you in there, and it's not as you frustrated. You can't hit the dude. He's moving on you. You're a beginner, so you just straight go forward. So there's a lot of things that come and play, right? Then you start realizing, like, okay. Then my coach was like, all right, so now you want to learn how to box? And it was crazy. Like I said, man, like, they really humble you down, man. They really humble you down. So, okay. So whatever. So I started learning, you know what I mean? I started learning, and then months later, believe it or not, man, I was able to actually spar with this dude and keep up with this dude, man. And that's how you know that, footwork. The fundamentals of boxing is so damn important, man. And you really have to marinate yourself with those fundamentals of boxing. You really got to take and have a lot of patience. You need a lot of patience, man, because we get, especially myself, I get desperate, you know what I mean? Like, I like to have things done right away, you know what I mean? But as a coach, now that I'm a coach, I learned that patience is, oh my God, man, it's everything. Because even with my fighters nowadays, that, I start and I'm like, oh, I get frustrated, but then later on, I start seeing everything put together, and it's like, wow, okay, this is this is what patience does. So we can't, as coaches, we can't get desperate, man. You know what I mean? We have to have patience. But anyways, so like I was saying, so you have to get marinated good with the fundamentals and the footwork. You have to, you know what I'm saying? So you could, because footwork is very important, man. It's so important, man. And I realized that I see a lot of coaches and a lot of gyms that don't teach it. You know what I'm saying? They teach combinations, they teach other things first, and nothing, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has different ways of teaching, which is perfectly fine, you know what I mean? But that's the difference from a street fighter and a boxer. In there, and that's why they say art is boxing. Boxing is art, right? Boxing is like art. But it is, man. It is. It truly is, man. You have to flow with art, man. Flow. You see, art is everywhere. The paint. You see a painting, and it's like all different. And I'm talking about I'm talking about art like Picasso stuff. You know what I mean? Like, it's just there's splattered painting everywhere, and it's just beautiful. You know what I mean? But that's the same thing as boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to flow. You have to flow. And it's just beautiful. And boxing, remember, boxing is hit and not get hit. So it's not take 30 punches to give 2 punches. That's not boxing. And boxing is not go straight, go wild, haymakers. That's not boxing. That's street fighting. So you see what I'm saying? There's a difference. So you want to box, you know what I'm saying? You want to box. Boxing, beautiful boxing, man. Use ring generalship, footwork, lateral movement. That is boxing. So, like I said, man, becoming in a street. Matter of fact, I remember when I was a boxer myself, and a street fighter came one time to the gym. Same thing, you know what I'm saying? It reminded me of myself, because he told the coach, "Look, man, I want to go pro." And my coach was like, "You want to go pro, but you have no amateur experience. You have no. But I have, I'm pretty good. I have street fights. I have a lot of street fights. Blah blah blah." Okay, no problem. My coach put him in there with an amateur, like no lie, like a beginner, like novice, what we call novice now, right? And man, that novice put the work on this kid, man. Matter of fact, if I'm correct, actually fractured his rib with some body shots. And then that guy, I forgot his name, man. I can't believe it, man. I have such a bad memory. If you know me, you know I have such a bad memory. My God, man. I think I might have like Alzheimer's or something when I'm like 60 or 70. I don't know. I'm dead ass. I have a bad memory. But anyways, I forgot his name. But later on, we became friends. We became cool, man. He stood around And you know, we used to run together and stuff like that, train together. Cause he stood around after that ass whooping. He still came back, just like myself. And I want to say he became amateur and all that stuff, but I don't think he went pro either. I don't think he went pro. But same thing. You see, it humbled him down. You know what I mean? And I see it to this day as a coach. I see it to this day. I see a lot of people come in and they like that. You know, they think that it's the same. They think that they come in, you know, because they got a bunch of street fights or they're tough in the streets, and they think they could come in and do something with the boxing. And some can. Don't get me wrong. Some can. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you cannot, but it's a big difference. It's a big difference, and the transition is tough. It's not easy, because, like I said, you know, you have people in there that get marinated, real good fighters, right? Boxers that get marinated real good, got good ring generalship, good footwork, good understanding, good range, good understanding of boxing, period. And you go in against them and woo, man, you pay the price if you haven't been marinated right. And even if you have, sometimes this is what the beauty of boxing, that they're going to be better than you. That night, if you lose or whatever it is, they're going to be better than you. You know what I'm saying? That's just the way it is. That's why there's levels. There's a lot of levels to this boxing. There's levels, you know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? You compete at one level, right? But there's going to be another level. And when you meet that level, you realize, man, I'm not at that level yet, you know? So that's perfectly normal, and that's what boxing is, the beauty of boxing. But yeah, man, so yeah, man, you got to marinate yourself really good, you know what I mean? And take your time. And I know, look, man, I know for a fact, and like I say, I'm, you know, as a coach now, you know, I know it gets boring. You know what I mean? Like when you're doing your when you're doing your footwork, when you're doing, you know, your coach has you doing your line drill, or has you, whatever he has you doing as far as your footwork. You know what I'm saying? And you know, a week passes by, 2 weeks passes by, and you think that you're not getting the attention, right? Because let's be real, that's why we get upset, right? Because we feel like we're not getting the attention we want. And that's why we leave boxing gyms, that's why we leave trainers and so on and so forth, because we feel like we're not getting the attention that we want, right? But it's not that, man. They paying attention. Believe me, your coaches are paying attention. It's just that, like I said, you have to go through that. And then sometimes you think you're doing it good. You think, you know, you're ready for the next level, but you're not. And then you get discouraged. And then you leave. And then all of a sudden you go to 15 boxing gyms. You know what I mean? And then you realize, like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's you, it's not them. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? Take your time. Take your time. Get married. And then, of course, you got to choose wisely, too. You know what I mean? If you go to a gym and you realize that, you know, perhaps maybe, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be wise, you know, making these decisions. You got to be wise. You got to look at what they accomplish, you know, the teacher, so on and so forth. You got to look at these things. Because, yeah, you see, it may not be you. Maybe you have potential, but maybe the gym where you at doesn't have potential, or the teacher that you're teaching you doesn't have potential, or doesn't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? So that's very important as well. But let's just say, you know, benefit of the doubt that they know what they're doing, they're teaching you right, so you have to have patience. And like I said, man, it takes time, guys. It really takes time. I mean, I tell you from experience, my coach had me doing footwork, doing certain things for a long time. And honestly, when I was a fighter, I thought the attention, you know, I was like, damn, man, I'm not getting, you know, because I would see him working with the pros and I would see him working with other amateurs, and I didn't really get the attention that I thought at that time I deserved, right? Because I was like, man, I mean, he just told me to do this and I just keep doing this, and he just doesn't come and check up on me and stuff like that. But he did, though, you know what I mean? Because when you least expected, he was like, all right, Ron, now do this, or come in, and then he'll put things together where it made me realize, like, oh, damn, he was paying attention, because now this is the continuation of what I was doing. And if I didn't know what I was doing, I would not have been able to do what I'm doing right now. So everything gets connected like a puzzle. You know what I mean? And yeah, so you want to have patience, man. You want to have patience, but you know, that's the difference. That's the difference when you get marinated good versus when you don't. You know, you see that. And then, like I was saying before, when you're a street fighter, and you know what I'm saying, and you go into a boxing gym, you realize it's different. You realize, not at the moment, but later on, you realize like, okay, yeah, that's why they say that, you know what I'm saying, that it takes time and you know, the sweet science of boxing, you know what I mean? Because it is sweet science, man. It is beautiful science. You know what I mean? Like, you really have to learn everything, your fundamentals, you know, your lateral movement, how to throw a proper jab, how to pivot, you know what I'm saying, how to turn your hip with the punch, so many things, you know, that you have to learn. It's just not, you know, haymaking and going crazy. And don't get me wrong, like I said, man, I had a lot of fights. I had a lot of street fights. You know, I'll get suspended all the time because, you know, I come from Colombia. So, you know, we was, you know, tough out there. You know, we're not going to get picked on. You know, I was not going to get picked on or nothing. I ain't no English. So, you know, they will make fun of me. They'll make fun of my, you know, how I pronounce. To this day, man, I don't know how to pronounce good words, you know. But I tried my best. But anyhow, man, so you know what I'm saying? So I was the kid that I never got picked on. I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, they tried to pick on me, I'm not gonna lie. But I didn't let myself get picked on, so I will fight back. And you know, sometimes I'll get hurt, you know, sometimes I'll get hurt, I'm not gonna lie, I'll get beat up. And other times I will beat up. I will beat them up. And so then, you know, I started liking fighting. I ain't gonna lie. You know, I think all my life I've been a fighter till this day, man. You know, I like to fight. I do like to fight. You know what I mean? But obviously, as you get older, you know, you avoid any fights in the streets. I'm talking about in the streets. You know what I mean? So, you know, no violence, right? Instead, you wanna learn how to fight. I think everybody should fight at one point in their life. I think everyone, and I'm talking about boxing, not in the street fights. I'm talking about, you know, going through through a boxing gym, getting registered, taking out your amateur book, and going and fighting. You know what I mean? I think everybody should do it, just because, you know, I just feel like you should. You know what I mean? You should, because it's something that we should all do to experience that. You know what I mean? To experience, and also for self-defense, and for you not be a punk and get bullied, man. You know what I mean? Because let's be real, man. At this age, or my age, you know, I still see people getting bullied. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's not cool. But anyhow, but guys, that's the difference. That's the difference from a street fighter to a boxer. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. So you wanna take your time and learn the proper way. You know what I mean? Because like I said, a street fight, man, a street fight or a street fighter, you know, it's quick. You know, you think you're tough, you think you're that, but you need a lot of boxing IQ, man, to get in the ring. And then props, man, props and shout out to everybody that gets in that ring, because everyone is so. I always say, it's easier said than done. Even me as a teacher, I catch myself, you know, because I tell my fighters, oh, do this, do that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that was there, this was there, but it's always so easy to say it, right? It's always easier to say things when you're not in there. You know, oh, you could have done this, you could have done that, but it's so much harder when you're in there, because maybe you did try, but the guy seen it and counter you, or so on and so forth. So it's always easier said than done. That's why I feel like everyone should get in there. Everyone should get in there and get a little taste of it. Because no lie, man, I see it all the time. I see the parents yelling at their kids, especially. You know, oh, you know, this, that, you should have done this, you should have done that, you should have done. And then I ask the father, you know, later on, you know, not right there, later on in the conversation, have you ever fought? No, I haven't. Oh, okay. It makes me realize why, you know what I'm saying, you just shout out so much and you this and that. Because if you haven't been in there, you don't know, man. You don't know how hard it is in there, man. It's not easy. So, but that's what it is, champs, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. You know, that's what we talked about today, man. You know what I'm saying? The boxer versus a street fighter. You know what I mean? And the difference about that. So take your time. You know, if you're paying attention, if you're listening, take your time, learn the fundamentals of boxing, and you're gonna be good, man. You're gonna be good. You know, that's a fact, man. You know, at least you know how to defend yourself, and that's very important. The proper way, you know. And you don't have to be a pro. You don't have to go be a pro or nothing, but definitely you're gonna learn the fundamentals of boxing the proper way, and you should. Anyways, champs, appreciate y'all tuning in. Peace.